Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Today, I'm going to take a look at the results and analyze them and the storylines for the Raw episode of November 7th from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. So, here we go. So match number one, the The episode starts with the Usos, basically the bloodline minus Roman and Sammy. They come out to start the show, and then you have Corey Graves saying that they haven't heard about Sammy since Friday. So that's that's a little tease that maybe there's something going on between Sammy and the bloodline there, even though we all see it coming right now. Uh, they talk about Jimmy and Jay, they come in and they talk about the matches they had on Saturday at Crown Jewel where they beat the Brawling Brutes, and then Friday night on SmackDown they have a big match going against the New Day, and if they win, they're gonna obviously break the New Day's record for the longest tag team title reign in the history of the WWE. Now, New Day interrupts the segment. That was expected, and they say that basically that the Usos and Solo they all had they didn't even have to try have a real tryout at WWE to get contracts because of their lineage and who their father was, and they learned wrestling since they were kids and everything, and opposed to Xavier, Kofi, and Biggie, even if he's on injured list right now. Um, Having to work their butts off to get WWE contract and get noticed by the wrestling the WWE scouts out there wherever they are. So after a little back and forth, and Matt Riddle's music hits, it's like, what the hell is he doing there? And he comes out with his bongos and he goes in the ring, and funny as hell again. So they're telling the Usos and Solo, you want to hit my bong? And Solo just stays stoic like always. And Jimmy bangs on it a bit, and then he starts making a rhythm. And then Jay just slaps the bongos away. And finishes that by setting up a six-man tag uh, involving New Day, Riddle against the Usos and Solo Sikoa. Now, from that match, New Day wants to gain momentum going into Friday and put the seed of doubt in the Usos' heads as, hey, we can beat you guys. And the Usos want to win to prove that they're the ones, and New Days are the twos. So Usos dominate good part of the match. New Day have their moments. Match went at least 20 minutes, and New Day and Usos have incredible chemistry in the ring. Their matches are always very good. So I'm looking forward to that match on Friday. It's going to be a very, very good match. Um, Riddle at one point, Riddle comes in a house of fire, takes care of the three Bloodline members, and Bloodline wins the match as Solo Sikoa hits his finisher on Riddle. So New Day didn't take the pin, Usos didn't take the pin, so no one there, and there's no definite winner or loser. Uh, Clearly, Usos have the momentum going in because they're the champions, but New Day will want. I'm going to come back on this for Friday Night SmackDown, but the New Day will want absolutely to break the title reign of the Usos and protect their record. So that's basically it for match number one. So off to match number two. So for this, you have JBL coming out to his famous music with the cows mewing and everything. But JBL is just being JBL on the mic and gets under the crowd's skin, and he's just full heel at that time, just like the good old JBL was maybe 20 years ago. And it was every time he comes in the ring and starts berating the crowd, it's so good. JBL is very good on the mic, and I've said it and I'll say it again, but the pairing with the JBL with Baron Corbin to rebuild Corbin as maybe a future contender for titles. Yeah, he had some titles in the past, but lately he's been booked, losing a lot of matches, losing a lot of feuds. So new beginning for Baron Corbin, and it's just good. I'm not a big Baron Corbin fan to start with, but for a man his size, he can move. He's got a lot of skills. I'll give him that, and he's very good in the ring too. So he can put on good matches. So good, all good for Baron Corbin. Uh, I want him to succeed, and I think that this pairing with JBL is going to take him to another level. Now, in this match, he was facing Cedric Alexander. So, in this match, Alexander is there to be enhancement talent. That's all there is to it. He was there to lose to Corbin, and Corbin wants to win the match to continue establishing his dominance. So, no surprise there. Corbin wins the match with the end of days, and that's basically it. So, the purpose of that match was to continue building Baron Corbin's new gimmick, new persona, and uh, well, new new road, the new Baron Corbin. So off to match number three. So match number three was supposed to be Seth Rollins coming out for his U.S. Open Challenge, U.S. Title Open Challenge. Now he goes, he talks and says, I could let you serenade me for the whole night, and that's when he says that he's ready to fight or whatever. The Judgment Day music blasts on the PA system. Judgment Day come out, they get in the ring, they just surround the ring first of all, and then you see Finn Balor going up. So it's like, okay, Finn Balor is going to challenge Seth Rollins. That would be an amazing match. But didn't happen. Finn goes to accept Seth's challenge, but OC music starts, and the two factions face off in the ring. The three men of each side, and then Rollins just backs off, leaves the ring, and just goes to the back, saying, "I don't want to have anything to do with that." So AJ says that the feud is far from over. AJ says that it's been 3-4 the whole time, and they had to solve the Rhea problem. So they go and they say, we didn't find that fourth member. That fourth member found us. And camera goes to the corner when Judgment Day looks in that direction, and you see Mia Yim that just attacked Rhea and gives her some kendo stick shots and everything. So, and then a brawl ensues between the two factions in the ring, and it ends with Dominic being on the receiving end of a style slash from AJ Styles. Now, Mia Yim in the OC is a nice surprise. Um, with when we saw the blue hair, maybe some people thought it would be Sasha Banks, but uh, let's just say that Sasha Banks is more skinny than what uh, Mia Yim. Not that Mia is fat or anything, but Sasha is a lot smaller than Mia. Um, and like I said, I'm not saying Mia is fat. Far from that. She's a very attractive woman. Um, so, like I said, Mia being in OC, I like it. She has a big role right off the bat in there, facing off against Rhea of all women. We'll see how it goes, but I like the fact that this is shaping up to be a hell of a feud, and I am looking forward to seeing Judgment Day coming out on top of this feud. Now, match 4, which is in essence really match 3, but in my notes I wrote match 4. But anyway, uh, Otis versus Elias. So Otis basically wants to avenge his loss in the Trick or Street fight from last week. Elias wants to continue his winning ways, but that match doesn't have any big significance for now. If this is becoming a feud, it's just starting, and Otis wins the match. So he basically, Elias just basically gave it the win back to Otis from last week. So after that, another segment in the ring where Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss come in the ring. They call out Damage Control, and Damage Control gets theirs. A little back and forth talking there, and a little bit of a brawl. And you see Asuka and Io Sky just arguing in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese. I don't know at all what was said. From what I saw on the internet, there was some you're an idiot, idiot, or something like that, or stupid. Asuka telling Io that she's stupid or she's an idiot. And that little back and forth ended with Io calling Asuka a bitch. So, little brawl ensues between the two factions there. And after the brawl, Bianca announces that what I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, War Games match between Damage Control and Bianca Belair's faction. Now, what I'm looking at is Damage Control are going to be joined by Nikki Cross, and probably that Bianca Belair, Alexa, and Asuka are going to be joined by Candice LeRae. So that would be me leave one open spot per team for War Games. We'll see who gets adds up, who gets add up to the match. Maybe a returning Becky Lynch with Bianca, Asuka, and company. Because if we remember at SummerSlam, Becky made a face turn, confronted Damage Control besides Bianca. So maybe we're going to see a returning Becky Lynch at Survivor Series. Now, on Damage Control's side, who could it be? Maybe a returning Sasha Banks as a heel? Could be. We'll see how they build that in the coming weeks. But there's only two Raws left until Survivor Series. So they're going to have to name those people quickly, or maybe it's going to be a surprise participant on the Survivor Series. So on with the next match. Match number. So Miz versus Gargano. Gargano. So Miz comes out first. Gargano comes in second. And then he says that he's on a new universal remote control that can control the Titantron. It's like, okay, uh, whatever. It's just funny a little bit. And she shows a video of the Miz with a hidden camera from a private investigator that incriminates the Miz 100% about what Johnny's story, the story about the story that Johnny Gargano told last week, with all those remake videos or whatever. What has been a bit funny, and during the match, you hear Corey Graves calling Gargano Johnny Blackmail, which is which is pretty funny when you think about it. So, match, well, Johnny Gargano, what can you say? He puts on great matches almost all the time. And Miz puts on a great match with Gargano. And at one point at the end of the match, you see Miz pushing himself under the ring, like he pretending to be dragged under the ring, and then he just comes out with a metal turnbuckle, and tells the referee, "Look, under the ring, I was dragged." Blah, 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 blah. And when Gargano comes to grab him, he just hits him with the turnbuckle and goes in back into the ring, pins Gargano 1, 2, 3, and wins the match. So, nice little twist there. You see that Miz is using heel tactics, and it was a very good way of having Miz win the match without Johnny losing any credibility. So, and after the match, Dexter Lumis comes, hits Miz with a chair, and when security comes, he just runs off, and you don't hear about it for the rest of the night. But like I said, nice win for Miz. Johnny doesn't lose, Gargano doesn't lose any momentum, any credibility, because he was hit with a foreign object. So perfect finish. Storyline is good. Storyline keeps on going. And so the only thing I'm a bit disappointed there is that Gargano had a feud starting with Austin Theory, and this is just over right now, and they pulled Johnny from that feud to put him with Miz. Not a knock on the Miz, not a knock on Austin Theory, but and WWE does that too often. They just abandon storylines without any explanation. But anyway, maybe they're going to go back to Theory versus Gargano after. But what I would have loved to see in that feud, Austin versus Gargano, is have maybe a match for the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that won't happen anymore since what happened last night. I'll come back to that later on. So after the match, Damage Control in backstage trying to recruit Nikki Cross for the Survivor Series match, but we already know she's going to be in because all the it's already announced that Nikki Cross is going to be with them, and that they announced that Nikki Cross would face Dana Brooke in the next match. So we're going to go there right now. So Nikki Cross versus Dana Brooke for the 24/7 championship. Nikki Cross with her, since she came back with her old persona, where I'm just gonna call her Crazy Nikki. When she came back basically to her sanity gimmick, where she was freaking nuts, and I'll say it again, that's the best version of Nikki Cross we've had on the main roster. Well, basically, she had that that gimmick when she came in the main roster, but then they made her softer, team with Alexa Bliss, best friends and everything, and then that Nikki ASH nonsense uh, it was just, well, Nikki did her. I said it. Nikki did her best to try to sell that gimmick, but it was a loser gimmick to start. It was a gimmick made for children, and even the children, I think they didn't embark on the bandwagon of Nikki ASH. So Nikki coming back to that persona is mwah. Um, Dana Brooke, 24/7 champion. Uh, I like Dana Brooke better and better as a performer. She's had the title for a while now, and but I knew that when she was announced that she was facing Nikki for the title, I knew Nikki was taking it, and that's exactly what happened. Nikki hits her twisting neck breaker um, while hanging on top rope and wins the title. And then backstage, when you see Damage Control following Nikki, and Nikki goes to put the title belt in the trash. And by the way, she missed the trash can. But it was she wasn't looking. She was passing beside, and she just shoved the title off her shoulder. But it's funny that she missed such uh, a big garbage can. But anyway, I think that is the end of the 24/7 title. And now there's been talk about bringing maybe uh, mid card women's title. I would agree with this idea as long as there's title in both brands. I maybe a lot of people are talking about an intercontinental title for women. I wouldn't be against it. Maybe name a U.S. title for the other brand, but why not come out with another name and not a Divas Championship? No way. We don't want to see that anymore. But maybe an America's title to the to America's a continental title, the Americas, or maybe I don't know. I'm just launching the idea. Have a U.S. women's title would be good. Uh, well, you can always go with Intercontinental Women's Title and U.S. Women's Title, but I'm trying to have original names, and but I think the idea to have, because there's so many women right now on the main roster in both brands, to have all of them chasing one title per brand and the tag team titles. Uh, I don't think. I think there is room for one more title per brand for women. So we'll see. Hopefully they're gonna do that, and I'll come back with women's wrestling on another video. I'm gonna talk about women's wrestling, where I see it going. Maybe have their own. Well, I don't want to elaborate too much, but anyway, stay tuned to the channel, and I'll talk about women's wrestling in the coming weeks. So on to the main event. So Seth comes back to the ring, and he, as promised, he wants to have his U.S. title open challenge. And Ali goes to answer the challenge, but again, he gets dragged out of camera and beaten down. And Bobby Lashley comes in and says that he will challenge Seth. Ali attacks Lashley. Lashley throws him over some cases, and you don't see him after. Lashley comes to the ring, doesn't even wait for the bell, attacks Seth. And like I said in Crown Jewel, in my Crown Jewel analysis, I was wondering is if Lashley was making a heel turn because he attacked Brock Lesnar after the match. Now, Lashley is furious, hits Rollins outside the ring, and in my notes, I wrote literally wrote, does that confirm the heel turn of Lashley? Now, Lashley goes out, and there was never a match in there. And then you see Theory coming in with his briefcase. And after the break, you see Theory evaluating, hey, should I do it? Should I? And then he goes and cashes in his money in the bank on the U.S. title. So that's a first, because the money in the bank was always cashed in on a world title, either Universal, whatever. It was even cashed. It was even, but never on a mid-card title, Intercontinental or U.S. title. So Theory starts the match with Seth. Seth kicks out of a couple of big moves from Theory, including the A-Town Down. No, Theory hits the A-Town Down, and everyone thought that this would be it. And then Lashley pulls out the referee to prevent Rollins from losing the title to Theory, and he bangs on the Theory, and so that confirms that Lashley is now a heel. Rollins wins the match and keeps the title, and the way that this whole angle was booked, Rollins is now a baby face. Despite the serenading, despite the laughs and everything, the crowd was always serenading with his song and everything. They had to put Rollins back as a face. And the way they did that between Lashley and Rollins and Theory, and the way that they booked the match, Theory versus Rollins, it kind of reminds me when Rollins was going for the Universal title against Brock, where Brock was beating him from pillar to post, and he would still come back, and he won the titles 2 times from Brock Lesnar. So, well, at least at SummerSlam, if I remember right. But if I remember right, he won it 2 times from Brock Lesnar. So the way that everything was done was perfect to set up Rollins as a face, to set up Lashley as a heel. And like I said earlier in this video, Austin Theory failing on cashing in the money in the bank, he joined some pretty good company, John Cena, Baron Corbin, Damien Sandow, and I don't think it ever happened to a woman yet. I think the women always cashed in successfully up till now. But anyway, Austin Theory, don't worry about him. They're going to build him back up. I'm not even worried one bit about that. Unless Triple H really doesn't like the guy. But since he brought him to NXT in the first place, And maybe he just does that to piss off Vince, maybe because uh, Vince was very high on Austin, and Vince screwed up the main roster call ups repeatedly for Triple H's guys. So maybe he's just doing that to piss off Vince for now. I don't know. I'm just speculating right now, but I wouldn't be too worried about Austin Theory's future. He's gonna get his day. I'm not even worried about that. So that's it for Raw. Um, I'll take a look at NXT tonight. I won't. I'm not yet ready to make NXT analysis, but I think maybe in a month I'll be able to start. Maybe I'll do the deadline analysis and predictions and analysis, and then maybe I'm going to start doing um, some videos about NXT. So stay tuned. Hope you like the video. Uh, share the video, like and subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I hope to see you again soon. And I hope to hear from you too in the near future. Have a nice one.